U.S. officials are seething this morning. Our veterans are flabbergasted, and many voters are left wondering, what's the point in Afghanistan? This is what set them off. 65 prisoners are free this morning. 65 men the U.S. calls insurgents who attacked and killed American soldiers, targeted U.S. allies, and generally destabilized the country that U.S. troops have been fighting in to stabilize in the longest war in U.S. history. The government of Afghan President Hamid Karzai set them free. This is probably creating the highest level of tension between these two governments to date. So let's talk about this. Retired Marine Gunnery Sergeant Jessie Jane Duff joins us from Washington. She served in both Iraq and Afghanistan. And our military analyst, retired General James Spider Marks, is with us from Virginia. Gunnery Sergeant Duff, let me start with you. More than 2,100 U.S. troops have been killed in Afghanistan, almost 20,000 wounded there. To you, where you're sitting right now, does this feel like a slap in the face?
Oh, this is blatantly a disgusting measure. We agreed to release these prisoners to the Afghan government with the condition that they would not release them without our consent. They were supposed to hold them on trial. We passed over the evidence, and what did they do? They said there wasn't enough evidence. We have 32 American and allied troops, additionally 23 Afghan peacekeepers that are killed, another 17 that are directly associated with roadside bombs. So what are we looking at? American dead so they can go back on the battlefield and turn around and kill our forces that are still there today? This is appalling.
So, Spider, you know, this comes after Afghan President Hamid Karzai refuses to sign, apparently, a pact about the future of U.S. forces in Afghanistan. So you have that. You have this prisoner release. So what should the U.S. do about this?
Well, John, clearly, this is a critical issue for the administration. The outrage that we hear right now is coming from the Department of Defense and from our military forces and the senior folks that are in theaters still. What we need to see right now is our president picking up the phone and engaging with President Karzai and letting him know in absolute terms that this is unacceptable. The United States has a long-term commitment to Afghanistan, and we've demonstrated that over the past decade. And we look forward to a future relationship. But activities like this, unilateral decisions like this, that clearly go beyond outrageous, this is almost a criminal act in itself, needs to be addressed by our president. I think that's the next step. Right now, it's being handled by subalterns, by those within the administration. This is a critical issue. It needs to go to the top.
But if Hamid Karzai doesn't respond, doesn't do what the president asked, Spider, then what?
Well, the president clearly has a credibility issue here. If the United States is fully interested, invested in Afghanistan going forward, and we need to establish a status of forces agreement, that's what it is. It's a SOFA that allows us to have a presence and to conduct activities within Afghanistan that gets the support of the Afghan government, we can move forward. If not, then we need to depart immediately. We don't need to drag this thing out. We need to bring it down, and we need to get out of country. This is going off the rails real quick.
Gunnery Sergeant Duff, I see you nodding your head there. Does this represent a failure of U.S. policy? You know,
my goodness, yeah.
Hamid Karzai is there because of us. So should this have been dealt with before rather than let it get to this point?
Oh, this is ridiculous. It's already off the rails. Karzai's already snubbed his nose at us. He's not going to sign that security agreement. We're not going to have one. And basically, all of those deaths are in vain. 360 billion taxpayers' dollars, basically. Our blood is in their sand. Karzai's basically said, yes, I know you defeated the Taliban in 2002. We pushed them out. They're back now. They're roaring and screaming. We've got al-Qaeda presence. And what is Karzai doing? Sitting back and enjoying the fact that he's snubbing his nose at this country, our dedication, our blood in their soil. It's not going to change, because when we look at the history with Karzai, he has refused to negotiate on the peace agreement. He has not signed anything, and he's essentially saying, too bad, so sad. Your efforts, thank you, but no thank you. And I'm appalled that this administration has failed up to this point to manage this long before now to a point where we're releasing killers of our forces onto the streets. And watch, we're going to see some of our bases and remaining troops attacked once again.
Well, to be clear, it's not the U.S. that's releasing these prisoners. Is the Afghan government?
No, it's the Afghan government, but they will attack our people that are still there.
In the U.S. government is clearly very, very upset about this. The question is, what are they going to do about it now? You know, we can hear the outrage and the anger in your voice. Gunnery Sergeant Duff, Spider Marks, thanks so much for being with us. We will be talking about Afghanistan a lot in the days and weeks and months ahead.